winter in Sweden. Time to head for the forests. Hello and welcome to round 2 of the 2014 World Rally Championship. It's Rally Sweden and there's nothing quite like it. Always one of the highlights of the calendar, the blast through the wintry Swedish forests marks the second of 13 rounds this year. World champion Sebastien Ogier resuming where he left off last season, victory in Monte Carlo 3 weeks ago. That win plus 2 bonus points as runner-up in the power stage finale ensures Ogier tops the early championship standings ahead of fellow Frenchman Brian Bouffier after his impressive one-off appearance in Monte. Chris Meek delighted with a podium finish in round 1, now preparing to take on the Swedish snow for the first time, as is Welsh youngster Alvin Evans. Volkswagen setting the early pace in the manufacturers' race, 4 points ahead of Citroën, who will be encouraged by their strong showing in Monte Carlo. From southern France, we've headed up to the Värmland region of Sweden. Rally HQ once again in Karlstad, with the service park some 90 kilometres north on the airfield at Hagfors. Well, the crews arrived here as usual, expecting a combination of deep snow and freezing ice-covered stages. But unseasonably mild weather has seen temperatures hovering around 0. It's a whole different challenge then. The specially studded tyres here are designed to bite into ice.
When the snow conditions are good with the snowbank, you can also carry even more speed into the corner and just push a little bit with snowbank. But this year, no snowbank, not so much snow, will be probably gravel on second loop, so very hard for tires.
You might have 50% of the studs missing, and then obviously it's just going to be really slippery, like driving with normal tires.
Frenchman Ogier clinched his first win for VW here 12 months ago, but the locals are very keen to reassert their authority.
I'm pretty sure both myself, Jari, and Ösberg, I know, we are all doing everything we can to be as high up at the leaderboard as possible, and we all have very high aims for this weekend, especially the Scandinavians.
I think there's overall many drivers now who wants to do well here, and we have 18 World Rally cars here in Sweden, so it's a good number after, I think for a while we haven't had such a big number of cars, so overall I think it's going to be a good fight coming up.
And another Finn joins that bumper entry, Juho Hänninen joining the new Hyundai team for his first outing in the I-20, but he's managing expectations.
Main target is still finishing the rally. It would be best way for all of us in the team, get to experience what we really need this year. Result, we will see if we can get a clean weekend without mistakes, so I believe it will be also good, but finishing the rally Saturday evening Karlstad, that would be really good.
The event finishing in Karlstad and also starting here with a spectacular opening ceremony in front of big crowds on Wednesday evening. Rally Sweden given a royal seal of approval courtesy of 2003 world champion Petter Solberg, chauffeuring Prince Carl Philip, himself a rally fan. Also here, Swedish Prime Minister Fredrik Reinfeldt.
It's a fantastic event. It brings out western part of Sweden, called Värmland. It talks about 200,000 people following this race out around in the woods, and that's fantastic to hear.
Formalities complete. It's time for the first action of Rally Sweden, a head-to-head showdown through a 2-kilometre super special sprint. A colourful appetiser for the main event. Quickest through the Karlstad Super Special, showing an early sign that local knowledge could perhaps play a part in proceedings. Norwegian Andreas Mikkelsen, a fraction quicker than teammate Ogier, and Estonian Ott Tänak, third on his first WRC outing for more than a year. And so to today, the start of the event proper. 6 stages fanning out from the Hagfors service park. Plenty of support for Mads Osberg and Andreas Mikkelsen, with most of the action run across the border into their homeland, Norway. 62 competitive kilometres in all. How will they cope in these unseasonal conditions? Let's find out now with commentator Paul King.
Well, Kevin, as you've mentioned, it is uncommonly mild, -2 degrees as the crews head out to Torsby. But enough worrying about the weather. On the start line, the world champion, the winner from Monte Carlo, and the Sweden victor from last year to boot, Sebastien Ogier. Now, -2 degrees seems chilly enough, but for rally cars and specifically their purpose-built tyres, this could cause problems. Each Michelin Alpine tyre has 380 tungsten studs embedded into the rubber, which should provide incredible grip as they bite into the ice. If the thaw continues, this could cause problems. Torsby is the only stage today that is not run through neighbouring Norway, so a homecoming lies ahead for Mats Osberg. Only 5th at the moment, but the M-Sport man, as a former runner-up at this stunning event, has already proved himself as one of the finest winter ralliers of his generation, especially with some local expertise thrown in from Swedish co-driver Jonas Andersson. Alvin Evans is one of a number of drivers making their Sweden debuts this weekend. A baptism of ice, if you will.
Left over crest, 40, middle over crest, keep right over 70 brakes, slot 8 left, minus 30, 4 right minus, keep in over crest.
Oh, and unsurprisingly, the young Welshman quickly discovering the limits of grip at this snowy spectacular.
4 right minus, keep in over crest, keep right over 70, 30.
There is an incredibly fine line between perfect slide and frustrating spin. Andreas Mikkelsen is actually a year younger than Evans, but while the Welshman grew up driving on the mud-covered valleys of his homeland, the white stuff is where this young Volkswagen star feels most at home. Another Norwegian who will enjoy the air of his homeland shortly. His hold on the top spot is a brief one, just under 4 seconds slower than his teammate. He slips behind Ogier at the first time of asking. Further back, Martin Prokop is looking for a significantly longer run than the solitary stage he completed in Monte Carlo. Oh, and it's another typically snowy surrender from the Czech privateer. Sucked into a Swedish snowdrift like so many before him. It's an incident we've seen time and again over the decades at this famous event. Some snowbanks you can use as a crude brake to bounce back on the road. Others, like this one, will suck you straight in. Well, as a group of nearby fans get to work hauling that Fiesta onto the road back in the stage, Hyundai's Thierry Neuville is bearing down on the same location. Yes, there is Prokop, stranded on the right. Thierry is another who suffered an early exit in round 1, but as the I-20 sails past, he has at least made it a little further this time. And after what must seem like an age off-piste, finally Prokop, with a little help from fan power, has ensured he should get back on his way. And almost taking a couple of his rescuers along with him for the ride.
Martin, you visit one of the famous snow ditches in Sweden. Luckily that you got back out.
Yeah, luckily there were a lot of good spectators that they were helping us, but a lot of them were just standing and making videos how the others are helping, so it could be back faster, but luckily they didn't stop the helping us and we get back. But, not a good start.
Yes, the supporters coming to the rescue as so often in the WRC. Normal service resumed at the top of the leaderboard. Ogier replacing teammate Mikkelsen. And welcome back, Oit Tanak, out of action for a year. The Estonian returns with a bang, 3rd after stage 2. Very little separating the rest of the top 10. Okay, we're up and running. It's over the border next. There is snow out there, but the conditions, like the countries, are changing. It's off to Norway next. Round 2 of the WRC. We're in Sweden, our yearly visit to the Scandinavian winter wonderland. Karlstad, once again the official base for Rally Sweden. It's the capital of the Värmland region, a land of forests and lakes, a breathtaking region of natural beauty and a fitting backdrop for the WRC's only full winter rally. Here we are, high above Jari-Matti Latvala in stage 3, Kirkener. Latvala, the third of a trio of Volkswagens, leading the way in this latest trip into the frozen forests. Wonderful action. Jari-Matti Latvala again third fastest in this 7-kilometre stage. So a reminder, 18 World Rally cars competing this weekend, all fighting against the elements. The surprise package so far, this man, the returning Ott Tänak, the Estonian, dropped by M Sport after his error-ridden first full season in 2012, best of the rest in 4th. And that takes us on to Finnskogen, the longest stage of the day at just under 17 kilometres. And it's a test the drivers will love. Wide, fast, flowing. It's our stage of the day, highlighting a 1-kilometre stretch to focus on in the company, first of all, of the world champion, Sebastien Ogier, taking on the Scandinavians in their own backyard.
So, first up, it is the man of the moment, the driver who conquered all in 2013 and gave the Norseman a bloody nose in these frozen forests, the scene of his debut win in the Polo R. So the clock has started. Ogier's into our isolated split. Try and place yourself now inside this car, up to 200 kilometers an hour on ice and snow. Pace notes from Julien Negracia. It's one of the most spectacular scenes in world motorsport, and again the Frenchman is representing the Southern Europeans with Gallic gusto. This 1-kilometre blast over in the blink of an eye, or more accurately, 35.2 seconds. Ogier once again proving that in the birthplace of the Scandinavian flick, Viking blood is no longer a necessity for success.